Hey everyone, this is Sasha bringing you a video tutorial today from BP4U, and today we're going to be talking about this layers window. If you don't see your layers window, you can come up here to window and you can click on this layers box to make sure there's a check mark next to it, or you can hit F7 on your keyboard. So this can be a very complex tool that you will really get acquainted with when you are doing editing, because you will use this box for everything. You will use it every time that you edit a picture. So it's pretty important to know how it works. So we have some tools down here, and you can see that right now we've got 3 available to us. Create a new layer, create a new group, or create a new fill or adjustment layer. So if we click on this box here, you can see all of the tools that we had available to us up here with the addition of solid color and pattern. So let's just go ahead and we can add let's add a color. We'll make it kind of a warming color. So now we have this color over top of our picture, and we can no longer see our picture. There's a few ways that we can go ahead and solve this problem. We could lower the opacity of this layer, and what that means is that we are seeing less of it. So the more that we see it, we're seeing this now at 100%, or we could see this at 10%. And if we turn this eyeball off and back on, we can see the change that we have made. I'm going to pull this back up to 100%. There's another way that we can solve this problem. We can change the blending mode. And so you can see we have all of these different blending modes that we could play with and we could try. We could try the multiply. We could try screen. But the one that we're going to go for here is soft light. And it is a popular blending mode. Soft light, overlay. Soft light, overlay, and screen are the 3 most popular ones to use for fill layers. Not the only ones by far, definitely not the only ones, but they're the most popular ones to use for these different kinds of overlays, colors. And so again, I would still want to go ahead and lower the opacity, but it's just going to give me a different look than I would have gotten with the normal blending mode. If I decide that I don't want this, I can click on it and I can drag it down to the trash. If I wanted to create a group of layers, adjustment layers, I could go ahead and create on this or click on this folder option here, and then I could add my adjustment layers under that. And so let's say I wanted to brighten the photo a little bit with curves. Oops. I wanted to add a little bit of saturation and maybe a little bit of contrast. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to collapse this group, and now I can see the changes that I have made using these three adjustments right here. So let's say that I selectively wanted to pull those off of the picture. I could add a layer mask by clicking on this button here, and I could use a black brush to erase them from a part of the picture that I didn't want to see them on. Let's say for some reason I didn't want to see them on Mom. I could go ahead and use my black brush to paint these adjustments off of her. Not exactly ideal for this photo, but you can see now that Mom does no longer have these adjustments back on her. And if I were to look at this now and say, well, that was not really what I wanted to do, I could paint over it again with a white brush. White reveals, black conceals. And so white is going to, when this layer mask is white, you are showing everything, all of the adjustments here. If this layer mask was black, you would be hiding them all. I could also change the opacity of it, and I could globally turn down all 3 of those adjustments at once by just pulling down the opacity of the group. And again, I could delete all 3 of them at once by dragging it over to the trash can. So that, in a nutshell, is how you can use the layers window. The advantage to not working on the background layer and working over top of it is if you make a change, you can delete that. It's not permanent. It's non-destructive. If you don't like the change that you have made to your picture, you can just delete it off, or you can, maybe lower the opacity of it or change the way that it looks by changing the blending mode. You have a lot of different options. If you work directly on the background layer of your photo and you don't like it, there's not much that you can do. So thank you so much for watching this video tutorial. I hope that you learned a lot about your layers window. Happy editing!